Hello, I'm the person in AHDB responsible for ensuring that we have the right strategies to deliver what the industry needs and wants over the next few years. And I'm the person responsible particularly for cereals and oilseeds. Uh, our strategy is about identifying the areas of work that we see as the most important for the industry. We can't deliver everything, so we focus particularly in certain areas. And each 5 years or so, we reflect on that and make sure that we are focusing correctly and whether we need to move the focus. And in fact, coming up very soon from 2021 to 26, we are moving the focus very slightly. And I'm going to just talk about that briefly. But I also want to say that much of our work carries on as well. So if I don't mention it, it is because it's everyday work and we'll continue to do it. So going forwards then, for 2021 to 26, in the research and KE areas in particular, we're going to have more of a focus on IPM. We're going to do more work on farm business performance, on farm skills, the environment and the reputation of UK farm production. So I'll go through each of those in a little bit more detail. On IPM, integrated pest management, we'll continue to fill gaps in knowledge as we've been doing for some time, but we're going to focus in some new areas as well, which we believe will add value to the work that we do. The first of these is to develop a knowledge hub, which will be the first point of call for any information that any of you might want on IPM, whether it's our information or anybody else's. This will be developed fairly soon, and as I say, it attempts to pull together everything we know on IPM into one place. The second area is on data integration, and this is because we realize that there's a huge amount of information out there on IPM methods. However, a lot of it sits in different platforms and different places. And for individuals like yourselves and growers who are looking to make decisions on what to do, it can be quite difficult to pull this information together. So we're going to develop some tools which will hopefully allow you to make your decisions more easily based on a lot of different pieces of information. The third area of our new focus on IPM is on behaviour change. How can we help growers move increasingly into the IPM area and reduce their dependency on pesticides? Now, we know a lot of people are already doing a lot of IPM work, but there are still some people who aren't able to cope with the risk of shifting from pesticides to other approaches. And we want to help people make that move. And then finally, in the area of pests and diseases, we want to try and collect more information about the incidence of pests and diseases in the UK. And not only collect more detailed data, but also make that data more readily available to the decision makers, and hopefully more of it in real time. So as you, as advisors to the growers, have really up-to-date information on the state of pests and diseases in the UK at any one time. Our second area of greater focus is on farm business performance. And this is about how we can help businesses improve their business performance. Now, this is mainly driven by the fact that we are aiming to help businesses manage the loss of BPS. And the way we want to do this is to persuade and show businesses how using data that they already have about their business in a way to plan the business going forwards, they can improve their performance. People are already doing this, and what we hope to do is to be able to show others that the way that the good ones do it, and so they can look at some of these ideas and see if it's right for them. What worries us is that we look at the performance of many businesses, and we've noticed over the last few years that the gap between the top and bottom performers is getting bigger. And we need to find ways to try and ensure that those people who are on the border of profitability manage to move over into a more profitable position. The next area of greater focus is on skills. The Cereals and Oilseeds Board believes that one of the biggest hurdles that the industry will face in the next 10 to 20 years is a shortage of skilled staff. This isn't just having the right skills to do the job of people who are already in the industry, but also how do we attract in new people, new entrants into the industry as well. So we'll be looking at attracting new people in, and then we'll be looking at how you retain them once you've got them in the industry. And one of the tools we believe will help in that is to set up a CPD scheme for the arable sector. Industries like pigs and dairy already have these, and CPD is a way of both recording any improvements that individuals make, and they can carry that around the industry with them, but also to draw up lists of the sort of training that would be beneficial to people going forwards. And one of the things we're also going to do, because we're already involved very heavily in skills development, is to try and coordinate across the UK so that people get similar levels of training and also are able to move around the industry with skills that are recognised by all. The next area of focus is the environment. Now, we're not an environmental organisation in AHDB, but there are things that we can do in this area to help growers. The first one is to help growers maximise their income from any schemes that are being run on the environment, essentially, certainly for England, the ELM scheme. And we want to give guidance to growers on where they can capitalise on these schemes and get some farm income to supplement that which they make from growing crops. Second area is helping the industry meet its net zero ambitions, and those of the government as well. And one of the things we want to do is to be able to help growers measure their current carbon footprints and then have some ability to look to see whether changes that they make actually improves their situation. So benchmarking, essentially. So we will be introducing schemes to do that. And the third area in the environment is climate change. We know, so everybody knows now, whilst we may be getting not dissimilar total rain over the year, what's effectively happening is that it's all being dumped over short periods, and we're experiencing both heavy rain and quite serious periods of dryness. What can we do about that? Well, we as an organisation are looking at anything from the agronomy side that might help manage this situation, but also talking to breeders as well about whether there are varieties there that are actually better able to cope with this level of volatility. Our final area of our new focus is on reputation. It's very, very important to us that UK consumers are happy with the way we grow our crops and that they don't have any serious concerns about what we do in this country. That's partly because if they are happy, then the governments and other policymakers are less likely to impose regulation on us, and hopefully they will want to buy UK crops or the products of them. But also, we're looking all the time at import substitution. What can we do outside the price area that will encourage the buyers of crops to buy ours and not those from overseas? So the reputation of UK crop production is very important. It's not a massive issue from an issues point of view, but it is a factor in the minds of those that buy our crops. So those are all the areas of new focus or greater focus. But as I said at the very beginning, there are a lot of things which I haven't mentioned, which will carry on. For instance, with the recommended list, we're not intending to make any changes. We've just been through quite a big review period. The only difference is that for those people who want to access the data themselves and interrogate it for their own purposes, that should become easier in the next couple of years. We've already started down that road. Other services are RB209, fungicide surveys, the contaminants work, all those things carry on unabated. On soils, the Cereals and Oilseeds Board has just made the request, at least, that as the soils programme comes to an end, the research programme, that rather than spend a lot of resources on more research work in the short term, that we spend those resources looking at how we can use the information out of our research to better improve productivity and crop production. So it'll be more of a communications and KE programme whilst we use the information that we've generated from our Great Soils work. Market intelligence work will carry on unabated, and some of you may have heard we've been asked by the industry to relook at grain passports. So To achieve all that, we are having to move some of our resource around, and we are going to be stopping and reducing the input into some areas of work. And we've already started doing that. And one of those that's already been focused on for that is export work. The industry have asked us to cut right back on what we do supporting grain exports, because they believe they can do it perfectly adequately themselves, and there's not a lot that AHDB can add to it. And that's the same for education and diet and health work as well. The general view is that there are other organisations better able to deliver this than AHDB. And so we buy into a very basic package to support some of the central AHDB work on that. But the money that we save from not supporting those particular programmes, we can put into things like IPM. So that's the draft strategy as it is for the next 5 years, as say from 2021 to 26. We will be consulting on it next month, and I'm always very happy to talk to any of you about it, or come along to meetings and go through it if ever that's required. Thank you very much.